Welcome Royal Coin Value. Coin lovers, did you know that a tiny 1997 D. Lincoln penny you see every day could be worth thousands of dollars? Yes, what looks like ordinary pocket change might actually be hiding an unbelievable fortune, and the story behind it will shock you. The year 1997 and the penny's place in history. The year 1997 may not seem far away, but in the world of coin collecting, even modern coins can hold surprises. The 1997 D. Lincoln cent, struck at the Denver Mint, is one such coin that has become a subject of fascination. Though billions were minted, certain rare varieties and condition rarities have made this penny a hidden treasure in American numismatics. Design legacy of the Lincoln penny. The 1997 D. penny carries the famous Lincoln Memorial reverse design, originally introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the obverse is the enduring portrait of President Lincoln by Victor David Brenner, a design that first appeared in 1909. By 1997, this design had already been in use for decades, giving the coin both familiarity and nostalgia. Metal composition and changes. Unlike older pennies that contained significant copper, the 1997 D cent is made of a copper-plated zinc composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. This change, adopted in 1982, was made to reduce costs as copper prices rose. Though this makes the coin less valuable in terms of metal, collectors are not after the content. They are after the rarity and errors. Denver Mint production facts. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, which struck an astonishing over 4.6 billion pennies in 1997 alone. With such a huge mintage, one might think none of them could be rare. But the truth is the exact opposite. Within those billions, a handful of error coins slipped through, and those are worth a fortune today. Common circulation versus rarity. Most 1997 D pennies are only worth face value, and millions still circulate today. However, in uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS-67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, their value skyrockets. Why? Because out of billions, only a tiny fraction survived without scratches, wear, or factory flaws. Rare errors that change everything. What truly excites collectors are errors. The 1997 D penny is known for several varieties. Double die obverse, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even clipped planchets. Each error tells a unique story of minting mishaps, and each has a different market value. The famous double die errors. Double die obverse errors are the most sought after among 1997 D pennies. These coins show noticeable doubling on Lincoln's features or inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Collectors pay thousands for strong examples because they are both visually striking and extremely rare. Off-center and broad strike examples. Off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, can range from 5% to more than 50% off. The more dramatic the error, the higher the price. Broad strikes, where the coin spreads beyond its normal rim without a collar, also fetch premium prices when well preserved. Collector demand in the modern era. While older coins naturally attract collectors, the 1997 D penny proves that even recent coins can spark huge interest. Young collectors, especially, are drawn to modern era coins because they feel attainable yet rare enough to build excitement. Demand is steadily growing in online auctions and coin shows. Condition is everything. For modern coins like the 1997 D penny, condition is king. A regular circulated piece may be worth just 1 cent, but in high mint state grades, values can jump from $50 to $500, and in rare cases, even thousands. Proof like luster, sharp strikes, and absence of marks play a major role in pushing auction prices upward. Auction records that shock collectors. Some 1997 D pennies have stunned the auction world. In top condition, MS 68 examples have sold for $2,000 to $3,000. Error coins, depending on rarity and visual appeal, have crossed $5,000 in specialized auctions. Each sale adds new excitement to the modern coin market. The role of certification. Certification by PCGS or NGC makes a massive difference in value. Collectors trust certified coins because they guarantee authenticity and grade accuracy. A certified 1997 D penny in superb condition has far greater demand than a raw, ungraded example. A modern penny with surprising value. The irony of the 1997 D penny is that it's still found in circulation today. People spend it without a second thought, unaware that they might be holding a rare double die or high-grade gem worth thousands. That mystery adds to its appeal. Cultural and collector impact. Modern-era coins like the 1997 D-penny highlight the unpredictability of minting. They remind us that even with advanced technology, mistakes slip through, and those mistakes become treasures. Collectors see them not just as coins, but as tiny historical accidents preserved forever. Final verdict. The 1997 D. Lincoln penny is proof that even the smallest coin in your pocket could hold shocking value. From billions of ordinary strikes to a handful of rare errors and mint-state gems, this coin has everything collectors dream of: rarity, demand, and auction surprises. So check your change carefully, because your 1997 D penny might just make you richer than you ever imagined. This is Royal Coin Value, where your pocket change becomes treasure. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin secrets. The year 2000 quarter dollar without mint mark is one of those modern American coins that seems very ordinary at first glance. But when we take the time to really study it, to explore its story, its design, its historical background, its place in the famous 50-state quarters program, and its value in the coin market today, we discover that even a coin as small and as common as a quarter can open the doors to history, to culture, to art, and to the fascinating world of numismatics. When you hold in your hand a quarter from the year 2000 with no mint mark, what you are actually holding is a piece of American history that was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, since the absence of a mint mark usually means it was produced there. The Philadelphia Mint, being one of the main production facilities of the United States, struck hundreds of millions of these coins in the year 2000, and each of them entered into circulation to be used in everyday commerce. Now, when we talk about the value of this coin today, we must remember that condition plays the most important role. A circulated condition coin is one that has been used in daily transactions, passed from hand to hand, through shops, markets, and pockets, showing signs of wear, scratches, and sometimes discoloration. Because so many of these coins were made, and because so many of them are still available, their value in circulated condition generally stays between their face value of 25 cents and around $1 in the current coin market. This means that if you find one of these coins in your change, it is not going to make you rich, but it is still something worth holding on to, especially if you are collecting the State Quarter series. But let us take a deeper look, because the story of the year 2000 quarters is not just about money. It is about history, symbolism, and the nationwide excitement that surrounded the release of each new state design. The 50-state quarters program was launched in 1999 and continued through 2008, and it became one of the most successful programs in U.S. mint history. Millions of Americans started looking at their change more carefully, waiting eagerly to see which new design would appear next. In the year 2000 alone, 5 different state quarters were released: Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia. Each design tells a story about the identity and pride of that state. The Massachusetts quarter, for example, shows the image of the Minuteman statue with the outline of the state. It symbolizes the role of Massachusetts in the American Revolution and the fight for independence. The Maryland quarter celebrates the old line state with the dome of the State House and branches of white oak, reminding us of Maryland's history and resilience. South Carolina's quarter is full of symbols. The outline of the state, the palmetto tree, the Carolina wren, and the yellow jessamine flower, all important icons of the state's natural and cultural heritage. New Hampshire's quarter is famous for featuring the Old Man of the Mountain, a rock formation that became a symbol of the state, though sadly the natural formation collapsed in 2003. Virginia's quarter celebrates one of the earliest chapters of American colonial history, showing the 3 ships Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, which brought settlers to Jamestown in 1607. All of these designs carry deep meaning, and even though they are common coins, they connect the people who use them to the history and identity of the United States. Now, when we return to the subject of value, most circulated examples without mint mark from Philadelphia are not rare. Dealers and collectors will usually pay only a small premium, sometimes 50 cents or maybe $1 if the coin is in better shape than usual. However, the value can increase in special cases. If the coin has remained almost uncirculated, meaning it has very minimal wear, it might be worth a bit more. And if the coin is graded by a professional grading service and found to be in mint state condition, its value can rise further, perhaps 5, 10, or even more dollars depending on the exact grade and demand. But again, for the typical circulated coin, the value remains close to face value. Another aspect that makes some 2000 quarters more interesting is the possibility of minting errors. Errors can occur during production, and they can make a coin unique. Some of the known errors for 2000 quarters include off-center strikes, where the design is not properly centered on the coin, or double die varieties, where parts of the design appear doubled. There are also coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the blank metal disc used for the coin was actually intended for another denomination, such as a dime or a nickel. These kinds of errors can be worth tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on how dramatic they are. Collectors love error coins because they are unusual and much harder to find in circulation. So, if you have a 2000 quarter without mint mark, it is always a good idea to examine it closely under good light or even with a magnifying glass to see if there are any unusual features that might increase its value. But let us not forget the larger picture. The 2000 quarter without mint mark in circulated condition may not make you wealthy, but it is still part of a program that brought joy and education to millions of people. The 50-state quarters program was like a history lesson in your pocket. It encouraged people to learn about different states, their symbols, their mottos, and their contributions to the nation. Children, adults, collectors, and even casual users of coins all paid attention. Some families made it a hobby to collect each new design as it came out. This wave of enthusiasm helped to create a new generation of collectors, and many of them still treasure their complete sets of state quarters today. Even in the year 2025, when we look back at these coins, they remind us of the excitement that once surrounded their release. And while most of these coins in circulated condition remain worth between 25 cents and $1, their true value lies in the story they tell and the memories they carry. For some collectors, building a complete set of state quarters is still a goal, and each individual coin, including the ones from 2000 without mint mark, is a necessary piece of that puzzle. So when you see a 2000 quarter dollar without mint mark, remember that it is not just a small piece of metal. It is a piece of history, a part of a program that united millions of people in the simple act of looking at their change. Its market value may be modest, but its cultural value is far greater. Whether you are a beginner collector holding your first state quarter or an experienced numismatist studying mint errors, this coin has a place in your collection and in the larger story of American coinage. If we summarize everything slowly once again, the 2000 quarter dollar without mint mark was made in Philadelphia. It is part of the 50-state quarters program. It comes in 5 different state designs for that year. It is made of copper-nickel clad, not silver, and in circulated condition its value today is generally from 25 cents to $1. In better condition or with errors, it can be worth more, sometimes several dollars, and in rare cases even more if it has a dramatic minting error. Collectors value it not for its price but for its place in history and for its role in inspiring people to learn about the states and about coins themselves.